Not many people would like to hear this one, but I have to get it off my chest. I come from a small town in America that I don't want to name, should people start looking this up and try to find me. I know this was only covered locally and that it didn't make headlines anywhere outside of the state, so all of this would bring people to me. I don't want that. I just want to tell my story. A few months ago, I was just old enough to be left at home when my parents went out. I had just turned 17 and I really didn't like the idea of being left alone, but I dealt with it anyway. That date was my parents' anniversary. They had a special date night ahead of them. By nighttime they left and I was alone in the house with snacks and permission to use my Netflix account, but I had already started to feel uneasy as I don't like the house we live in. It's pretty old and has old-fashioned lights along the walls. Most of these lights need to be replaced as they are dim. Not to mention at night you can always hear the floorboards creak, and when you open the doors to check the hallway, all you see are shadow people. With the lights on, they disappear. And I know I'm not imagining this as my parents have even seen them, not that they did anything about the situation. But this night, as soon as my parents left, I could hear the shadow people walking around again, even though the lights were on. Multiple people were walking around certain parts of the house. Now and then I could hear something close to me, only I pretended not to hear the noises and carried on watching Paradise PD. Anything to distract me. Through a second episode, I got a message from my friend next door saying she saw my parents leave and asked if she could come over. Why she waited so long to send me this, I don't know. I thought nothing of it and said it was okay. A minute later, I heard her knock on the front door and I let her in. Only I noticed something odd in her arms. She showed me and I saw it was in a Ouija board. She told me how she saw this in a toy store and bought it, well aware of the shadow people in my house too. She said it was the perfect opportunity to use it and contact those stuck in my home. Again, thinking nothing of it, I agreed to do it with her as I didn't really believe the Ouija board worked. I got some candles and lit them and she got the board ready. We sat by the board and she said a few things that she had explained would open up a portal to talk to these beings. We did what she said to open the portal and we began asking questions. For about half an hour we got no reply. Then we heard the sound of walking in the room above us. Again, we were the only ones home. At first I wanted to go check, but then my friend said, "He's finally here." I tried to get an answer out of her as what the hell that meant, but she only replied with a, "You'll see." She began asking weird questions such as, "What are you, what is your name, and why is it following me?" My chest sank at the sound of those words. This was planned. She asked what it is and the planchette began to move. I thought it was my friend pranking me, but then I heard the walking coming down the stairs. No one was there. The word demon was spelled out. My friend asked what his name was and it spelled out death. I started to hear the walking coming closer to us. My friend asked why it was following her, and the word that spelled out was time. The footsteps stopped right beside us, and by this time I was shaking with fear. I wanted to take my hand off the planchette and run. My friend kept telling me I would be cursed forever if I did. There was a huge gust of wind and all the candles died out. I thought, fuck it, I'm not dying like this, and I let go of the planchette. In the dark I ran towards the door and opened it. I took a quick look to see if my friend was behind me, but I saw she was still where I left her. What was worse was that there was a tall, faceless figure standing behind her. It was leaning down towards her. I screamed and ran outside onto the road where I was almost hit by my own parents' car. They had just come home. In a rush I explained to them what happened, and my dad hurried inside, turned on all the lights while my mother comforted me. By then we had gained some attention with our neighbors, including my friend's parents. They came out and I told them what happened. My dad came out of the house and told me that my friend wasn't in the house, and that there was no Ouija board either, only the candles. My friend's parents went inside their home to look for their daughter and came back to say she wasn't there. The police were called and the news reporter showed up. Yes, they are that desperate to write anything here. Apparently the ghost I saw was ruled off as an actual man who had broken into our house and kidnapped my friend. This all made the front page of the newspaper for the next week or so. It was a shock to the town because kidnappings are so rare. Only I knew what had happened, and I knew it wasn't a kidnapping. But who's going to believe a 17-year-old? It's been months now and there's still no sign of my friend. We still live in the same house, but I begged my parents to get a priest to exorcise the house. He does so once a week. He generally comes when my nightmares get unbearable. Guess I am cursed thanks to taking my hand off the board. I just wish I'd see my friend again.